What's going on, everybody? This is Afro Think Tank. So, Oshay Duke Jackson made another video. Alright, this time, in his mind, he said, you know what I'm going to type in? I'm going to type in that Tariq Nasheed is, dangerous to pan-African, or is he's the biggest, what the fuck ever. Either way, it's definitely a clickable goddamn title. Right? And I'm sitting here, I'm sitting here in the morning, I just got my Colombian. That's what I always get. Even though there's other choices, I feel like I should probably try something different today. But I know that the Colombian is going to do the trick. That's my problem now. I need to diversify my, morning coffee regimen. Try something new. But I'm drinking my coffee and I'm listening to Oshay Duke Jackson, right? Talk about how Tariq Nasheed is right to be disgruntled about pan-Africanism, and everybody disgruntled and pan-African scammered, and he used the one guy who said he was going to do something about the school as an example. All these goddamn examples of why pan-Africanism and ideologies and scams not working because, African Americans, we want other people to recognize that, we put all this effort in all this. It's like everything he's saying is one, glazing Tariq Nasheed, and number two, regurgitating the same Chat GPT free version of the same stuff he's been saying about how we did all this, ain't no pan-Africanism on the continent, everybody's scamming, as if every business sector is not filled with people scamming, trying to win one over on another person who's not even enough to do business without knowing all the information of the field. Here's the thing. I noticed about all these Pan-Africans who used to be Pan-African, and they are no longer Pan-African, now ethno-nationalists. Usually their complaint is that they weren't appreciated enough for their work, or they didn't get enough thanks, or that the other person that they're partnered with wasn't pulling their weight all the way, right? But at the same time, these same people always talk about how great and powerful they are, big and strong, right? They are, how capable they are compared to other people, and how far the accomplishments of one group is over the other, right? But then in the next breath, try to blame the other groups for not being technologically or architecturally surrounded or caught up to you, the great freaking whoever you are, right? So on one hand, you're great and you got all this, you can do all this, you got all the money, right? So obviously, if you got all the quote unquote economic power on the globe as a bunch of Africans, then clearly you would have the best capability of doing shit. And obviously, right, if you have more access to knowledge and wokeness because you can understand your surroundings, clearly you can make better decisions. Those don't got the information, right? So it's just crazy how these people who are supposed to be so goddamn intelligent are making convenient arguments about why it is the African Americans or Africans in the Western Hemisphere or Africans who, associate with the Western European, British 2.0 Anglo-Saxon barbarian over here on a direct basis, why we are so, adamant about handling our stuff directly and why everybody's different from us or whatever. It's crazy. You can't say that you the shit and then complain about having to do all the shit, right? And it's like these people, they can do all this research about like Americana, right? And we supposed to base the things that done happened to her in the past and act like that they could, you trust the UN when they make a political decision to fire somebody. You trust the AU when they make a political decision to fire somebody after they conveniently talked about a Western power who's being deposed and everything she said is being validated right now in real time, right? But we're supposed to believe the source. The source has more credibility than the person that has to defend themselves from that source. So Dr. Americana has less credibility than Oshay Duke Jackson and Go Black to Africa. So Go Black to Africa and what Oshay Duke Jackson says about Americana, right, is word, is bond, it's factual, it's truth. They stand on a foundation of truth, honesty, and unbiasedness to make accusations about a person like Americana and her past decisions, as if people can't look at both of them, look at what they've done in the past, and say, you know what, I'm going to equate that to the things you're saying now. you're discredited. It's hypocrisy, right? And I'm listening to him like, look, I understand people fall for it, but the deflections of Oshay's voice when he's acting like he's weaving through and sitting on the fence of the things he's trying to talk about, I understand that his subscribers, they're not going to Africa, right? His subscribers are FBA. They're nice and cozy and tucked in with FBA. They like it. They want to delineate. Go right ahead. Delineate. No one cares. They keep talking about somebody trying to force them to be African as that's what we're doing. We're trying to force them to be one monolithic group of Africans, some generic flat African. That came up with a new term, flat African, insinuating that just like Tariq Nasheed tried to say basic African, generic African, they think that they're special. They have main character syndrome. That's why they believe that their African is a bigger and better African than the other Africans. As if your African is that much different from any other Africans. You're the special, you got main character syndrome. Too many African Americans have that culture, and that European, that American with a capital M, that shit rubbed off on us to the point to where some African Americans believe they're special Negroes. That's why they want to call themselves FBA and delineate. Well, if that's the case, just go delineate. Ain't nobody stopping you. I don't know any Pan-African out here telling everybody need to be the same tribe, the same religion. It's not like that. It's simply working economically and socially with those who you can work with that look like you. Preferential over anybody else that don't. It's real simple. It's real basic. What I've noticed is most of these former Pan-Africans, they just weren't strong enough to be Pan-Africans. They didn't believe that they was that special Negro, right? They had main character syndrome until it was time for action, and then they became a side character. And that's the thing about it. Like what happened is these people weren't really Pan-African unless it was paying them something. They weren't Pan-African unless it got them views or hits. If the algorithm is pushing towards being a positive Pan-African, then they Pan-African. But after that, when the wave moves to something else, then they go over there. A Pan-African is a Pan-African, and he doesn't change his Pan-African ideology because he had a bad experience while trying to work with somebody that look like you but don't treat you like y'all goddamn brothers and y'all grew up together for y'all whole life. As if Pan-Africanism is some goddamn utopia where all black people are going to get along. Not one person going to scam. All the billions of Africans, nobody's going to scam. You got to, you should be able to naively get into business and thinking that the people that you work with care about you. People going to be undercut. People going to be pieces of shit no matter what race they are. But that's all. A real Pan-African who has truly woken themselves up to Pan-African understands that that's going to happen. Understands that there's different cultures. There's going to be different ways of scamming. It's the same scamming. No matter where you go, it's just flavored with a different language and different culture around it. Half the goddamn African American, half the damn scamming happening in Africa are African Americans scamming other African Americans while they go to Africa. Most of the scams are that. You got people scamming each other left and right. Dude, y'all voted for Donald Trump. That's the thing about it. Y'all voted for Donald Trump, bro. You voted for Donald Trump, bro. Like, that lets me know that anybody who voted for Donald Trump, their political advice shouldn't be taken. Their credibility on politics shouldn't be taken. You can't tell me you do your research and you got all these scammers and you can get in the weeds of the details of what all these other people are doing in Africa without even glossing over what the fuck's happening in America with Donald Trump, the person you voted for. Your politics and who you choose reflects directly on your political wherewithal, So, you know what I'm saying? Like, we can go back and forth, right? But my thing is, y'all can go delineate. We always knew that all black folks not going with us. And Oshay conveniently talks as if he knows that when I say FBA, I'm not talking about African Americans because they don't represent us. They are Tariq Nasheed's fan club. Every time he mentioned FBA, Oshay put himself in it as if he's one of them. He's FBA. That's his thing, right? And so he's either doing that because that's where the ad revenue tell him to go. You know what I'm saying? Those his crowd. But those people are not interested in going to Africa. They're not even the crowd that most people would point to or say, those are the Africans we want to come to America. No African American who's so weak-minded would change and lock themselves to a name that detached themselves from their identity as black meaning African, could ever be taken seriously when it comes to this Africa thing. Ever. Those are just the ones that identify themselves, the ones that are not going. And who the hell said you had to go to Africa to be a Pan-African? All these little basic little insinuations within Oshay's argument is to lather and to further sow disinformation and misinformation to those who don't even know what Pan-Africanism is, making it seem like it's some sort of monolithic force that's trying to make everybody the same. I really flat African. No, that is the most retarded thing, insinuating that we Pan-Africans want to cultify and wear the same goddamn dashiki and speak the same West African language, right? And we all, what? No, who? What Pan-Africanism? What Pan-African is saying that? We're about the most diverse, caring group of people on the planet. The whole point is Pan-Africans can tolerate other Africans, no matter those other Africans' languages, cultures, ethnicities, and geographical location. You see, we're the opposite of those things y'all talking about. So what do you mean? We're about cooperation, right? And putting a ton of content out there trying to make it seem like it is an issue between Pan-Africans and FBA. There's no issues. FBA are just a weak link African people. And those who promote it are just taking advantage of those weak link people, right? Because no self-respecting African Americans call themselves FBA in real life. Even if they have no intentions of going to Africa, even if they enthralled in their own lives, they have no they don't hate. They know they're African. They don't put any energy fighting just because one or two goddamn Africans hurt their feelings when they was in 12th grade and high school, and now they hold a lifetime grudge because they can't emotionally get over the fact that people gonna be pieces of shit. You know? So yeah, FBA just identify the weak ones. That's all, right? That's all that is. There's no war. There's no equal. We're not equal. Real Pan-Africans are doing the work. They're not on camera. Real Pan-Africans don't put out content used by the enemies of Pan-Africanism, so it can be chopped and screwed and mixed. Real Pan-Africanism don't create issues for monetary gain. They gotta keep it real, and if they get paid, they get paid. If they don't, they don't. Respect to those who are not real Pan-Africans and all that stuff. I mean, everybody don't gotta be a Pan-African, just like everybody don't gotta be a warrior, right? But America's strong, right? But only 1% of people participate in those activities, right? But the rest of the world, the rest of America, the rest of the 99% take credit for those activities. You FBA try to take credit for African-American activities while trying to delineate as if you're taking all of African-Americans with you. You're taking yourselves with you. Delineate from African-Americans and delineate from the African diaspora. Because no one wants to be around people who constantly do nothing but sow division to boost their own egos because they haven't achieved anything in life. Or because they're jealous of other people who've achieved things in life. Or because they don't know how to handle when somebody talks shit about you. You can't go from hating black women to hating black people with different ethnicities and languages, right? And call any of that Pan-Africanism. If you hate on black women, that's hating on half of the black community on this planet, right? If you hate on Africans, you hating on your brothers and your sisters to your left and your right. You if y'all sit around thinking y'all give all this grace to everybody else. And if you voted for Trump, bro, I don't even want to hear it, bro. Did you once you 1, 2, 3 times, the first time I maybe. But the second, third time, bro, and then boast about it, no way, bro. You can't call out anything if those are your decisions that you highlight for everybody to know. Right? And I don't even see why we still going, why there's a back and forth, right? I don't know, maybe the algorithm said, keep talking about that motherfucker or keep talking about that shit. Keep attacking Pan-Africanism because you're going to get them views. Because there's a whole bunch of insecure black people out there who are scared to make change, scared to do things for themselves, scared to compete with other Africans that look like them, that coming from a different perspective, that make it so they can't make excuses about why they failed in life or why they quit doing the thing that they want to do. They can pass that shit on to other people so they can hide from their insecurity, the same way white folks are doing. FBA ain't nothing but black MAGA. And just like white folks, they're trying to get away from those lower vibrational portions of their community that don't benefit shit. And and all I got to do is put up their leader, non-leader. The guy who who trademarked FBA, because apparently you can trademark a goddamn a lineage, but it's a club, but it's a group, but people don't know. But he's not a leader, even though he made it up and trademark and make money off t-shirts and hats and shit. All I gotta do is put up the shit that people who defend him pretend like he don't say and do. And then can they stand on that shit? Right? Sometimes you gotta get off that fence. Go left, go right. You can't just be on that fence. You know, I understand playing the fence for monetary gain. I understand that. Right? But at some point, you have to hop off that goddamn fence, and you're either going to go left or you're going right. Because people are getting smarter now. They're figuring that shit out. They're figuring that shit out. They're like, hold up, this 2 and 2 don't go together. Right? And if you've not noticed, everybody has had their day. Right? Everybody's shit's catching up to them. Right? And eventually, you know, people keep playing these games, acting like they do all this research for some people, and conveniently forget how easy it is to research that same accusation onto somebody else, but conveniently don't do it. And if you vote for Trump, come on, bro. Nah. But anyway, this is my 1 minute and 40-something rebuttal to anybody who think you can that Tariq doing any goddamn thing, okay? And while that shit's going, I'm gonna get out and go do what regular human beings do. They get out cars and go inside Home Depot and shit. And that's what I'm about to do while y'all freaking listening to why ain't nobody worried about no goddamn Tariq Nasheed, no motherfucking FBA.
This Jedi mind trick on us. We know where we come. We're from here. Yeah, we're from here. We don't have to claim some the countries in Africa that some of us came from 500-600 years ago or whenever. Those countries don't even exist no more. Those nation states don't exist no more. So we don't have to claim some non-existent nation state, and we can go this way on this land too, those tribes.
Yeah, so no, there's no Tariq Nasheed doing nothing to pan-Africanism. Anyway, that's all I gotta say. It's Afro Think Tank. Learn something, teach something. I'm out.
Ain't nobody trying to argue with you all damn day, bro. Shut the fuck up. Damn.
Free Sudan, boycott diamonds and gold. Free Sudan, boycott diamonds and gold. We most definitely cannot forget about the people of Sudan.
Thanks for watching Afro Think Tank. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And follow me on Substack and Patreon for more content. Remember, it's Pan-Africanism or nothing.